Pictorially, what we are looking at in this case of transmit power control is visualizable in the following cartoon. Now, suppose we have just two users, so we can draw in a two-dimensional plane on a piece of paper, slide. And the first user, SIR, is on the x-axis, the second on the y-axis. And we have a region, okay, so shaded region here that denotes the set of feasible SIR values. Okay. Now, ideally, you want SIR for both users to be high, but as you know, because of interference, that is not possible. So let's just look at those SIR1, SIR2 values that are possible, and we call these the feasible SIR values. So any point inside this region, okay, is a feasible point. But there are also inferior points because I could find a way to increase SIR for both users. Okay, so any points in this region would be strictly better than this point. At the same time, every point outside the boundary is infeasible. Now, what about the points exactly on the boundaries? We call those points Pareto optimal. Now, clearly, there are infinite number of these points on the boundary, and they are all Pareto optimal. In some sense, they are not directly comparable. Okay? Points inside are feasible but inferior. Points outside are infeasible, so don't even worry about those. Our job is to find a point that's at least on the Pareto optimal boundary. That means you cannot increase one dimension without hurting the other dimension. Those points formulate or form the boundary of this region. Now, which point to pick then? That would depend on the objective function. You have to impose some other objective function in order to pick exactly the point that you like most. Now, later we will see this theme of trade-off. Okay? Trade-off in this case between two users, SIR, and in general, the trade-off between any competing users in a social, economic, or technological networks. And we'll always want to operate on the Pareto optimal boundary. At least pick a point that is Pareto optimal. You cannot make one user happier without making another user less happy.